Mental with his law team here. City Councilors Maria Perez, who has been steadfast on this, and City Councilor Marlo Brown. On behalf of Police Superintendent Larry Akers, who is away at a Chiefs Conference, Deputy Chief Steve Kent is here with Captain Dunn, and we appreciate that. They'll be speaking pertaining to that. Lamont Clemens is here on behalf of Primus Mason. I know we have other representatives that are here from Six Bricks and other places also. We also have here Xavier Williams. He's our hands-on guy that goes into these places, and when they showed me the information and the pictures of what is being done, we had to move quickly in order to protect the residents, especially the young people and the children of the city of Springfield, on this deceptive packaging that kids can get their hands on, and that's why this gas station weed ordinance is going to come into effect, and others are going to explain that at this point in time. But let me just give you a brief little purview on it. You can see with the packaging behind Councilor Brown, there are some things that you'll see that are almost similar to whether candy, cookies, chips, but they divert them a little bit there. So it makes it wide open for any young person to come in and grab that, and it's unregulated. You can see some of the things here in comparison to what are candies on it, how that compares. So when you look upon it, we did reach out to the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, and we were hoping under their command or auspices that this is something that needed to be enforced and moved on, and they have punted on it. So I'm not going to punt on it. Neither is my administration, as we want to make sure that we protect the individual, especially young people. And although adult use of marijuana is legal in Massachusetts, there's been a host of bad actors been engaging on unlawful behavior, circumventing the state's licensure regulatory process for cannabis, and taking advantage of the lack of enforcement by federal and state authorities. These bad actors are producing unregulated, untested products that contain artificially elevated levels of THC, which create the same effects as legal marijuana, and in many cases also contain dangerous chemicals and heavy metals, bacteria, and mold. And Helen will get more specific into that. These illegal and harmful products are often marketed directly to children, much as the cigarette companies did. They cultivate their farm system, get them hooked young, and that way to continue to buy from you. And they resemble candies and snacks. They're easily available at gas stations, bodegas, retail stores, alongside of bags of chips and chocolate bars. Most of these unlawful products are packaged without identifying active ingredients or THC content. There were some that were brought to our attention and says this will make the ingredients make you feel wonderful. So customers have no way of knowing the potency and potentially dangerousness of this product. And because this, again, has not been addressed by federal or the state of Massachusetts officials, urgent need to protect the health and welfare, safety, public by prohibiting the manufacturing, sale, and distribution of these dangerous products in Springfield. This ordinance makes these dangerous products illegal to manufacture, sell, or distribute within the city of Springfield, and will allow our health inspectors and in coordination, we're working with our police department to identify and confiscate the illegal products, taking them out of our children's hands and off our streets for good. The ordinance establishes a $300 civil penalty per violation, authorizes the confiscation of illegal products, as well as additional court action, liens, where necessary to enforce compliance. Again, my administration has worked proactively investigating this growing problem that's been brought to our attention with the Department of Health and Human Service, and will take all necessary steps to protect the public and clear from harm represented from these dangerous products. With that, I'm going to bring up City Councilwoman Maria Perez and City Councilman Marlo Brown for some brief words, and then we're going to have more of the experts speak on this. So thank you very much. City Councilwoman Maria Perez, please.
As I hear the mayor speaking about this matter, it concerns us. I've been educated today. I'm still in a wow factor because my grandchildren goes to the store and buy candies, and I have to give thanks to the administration, Mayor Sarno, the Department of Health and Human Services, bringing awareness to our community. Um, I am one that I'm going to charge myself to educate the community about this serious matter. This is a very serious matter. Not only the consuming of it, but when you take medication, like many children does, and interact with a candy that you think is a candy, it's a wow factor. So thank you, Mayor Sarno and the administration, Helen Colton and her administration, for taking this leadership and including me. And I'm going to be steadfast with this, seriously, about what's going on, specifically with the bodegas. I'm going to be taking that charge of educating them what the consequence be. Sometimes the business owner, and I have to speak, they buy things that they think is a benefit for the community, and this one is sure not. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Thank you, Councilor Perez. Councilor Malo Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to thank the mayor for always being tentative to the city. Being in the inner city and representing the inner city, there's been a flux of different organizations targeting our youth. There's a new thing that came out in the inner city they call graba. And what that is, it's actually tobacco that they cure in, I want to say, ammonia. It's a very dangerous thing, and I know almost every single kid who smokes, they lace things with that graba. So it's been promoted. It's hit our city where it's almost becoming an epidemic. They're targeting our kids. They're giving a strawberry flavor, candy flavor. The packaging itself, and as far as the marketing scheme, is very, very sneaky, and it's hurting our community. So I definitely thank the mayor, and it is something that we do have to do to protect our kids. Thank you.
Malo. I want to thank, again, the elegant and eloquent Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Helen Caulton-Harris, her deputy, Ann Kissel, who sends her regrets that she could not be here. But when they came to see me, and Xavier Williams, the X-Man, who was out there on the street, and they showed me those pictures and how something could resemble Skittles or potato chips or candy bars, and just maybe a change of a letter and not the ingredients not being on it. And just recently, to the legal places, we haven't had any issues with our legalized marijuana. To all the places here, and positioned very strategically. You see around other places, they're shutting down left and right because of oversaturation. I said that a few years back, that you can't oversaturate on it. But they've had callbacks of marijuana that was moldy because they're regulated and it was pulled off the shelf. There's no regulation with any of this. So to speak about the specifics of the health concerns that we have, especially for our children, will be Commissioner of Health and Human Services Commissioner Helen Caulton-Harris. And the street action will have Xavier Williams speak on it, and then I'll have Solicitor Buoniconti on the legal aspects, and then on the police aspects, the Deputy Chief Steve Kent. And on the legal business aspect, I'll have Lamar Clements from Primus Mason Cannabis speak on how this affects legitimate businesses. Helen Caulton-Harris. Nice shoes, Helen.
Thank you. I try. It's not easy. Let me start by thanking you, Mayor Sarno, for taking this very seriously and wanting us to move forward in a very proactive way. I want to thank City Councilor Maria Perez and Marlo Brown. When it comes to our youth, these two city councilors are always standing up to protect the health of our youth. And to Steve Buoniconti, who took the time with Tom Moore to work with us to fashion this ordinance, I am eternally grateful. As always, Springfield Police have been our partners in many initiatives that we have stood up, and they continue to work with us. The Springfield Department of Health and Human Services implemented a comprehensive approach to address the public health risk associated with synthetic cannabinoids. Our research began in December of 2024. Cannabis has two species, hemp and marijuana. THC, or let me put my glasses on. So, because we always say THC, we never kind of spell it out, but let me tell you what THC stands for. Tetrahydrocannabinol is best known for its psychoactive effects or creating a high. CBD found in hemp does not produce a psychoactive high by itself. In 2018, the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture Resources instituted the Farm Bill, which redefined hemp as a cannabis including no more than 0.3 THC, separating it from marijuana in the Controlled Substance Act. Synthetically derived hemp cannabinoids contain delta 8 and delta 10. Synthetic cannabinoids mimic delta 9 and can cause psychoactive effects. Delta 8 and delta 9 are found naturally in cannabis, but in very small amounts, but can be chemically converted from CBD to synthetic cannabinoids and are sold in retail stores, are sold in bodegas, are sold in many venues. Limited knowledge and research exists about the facts of synthetic cannabinoids. So be clear what we're talking about. Synthetic cannabinoids are the packaging you see behind and the packaging you see to my right. Those are synthetic cannabinoids. And so the CDC has put out a paper that says an overview of synthetic cannabinoids for healthcare providers. They identified some clinical risks: neurological, agitation, confusion, seizures and stroke, psychiatric, hallucinations, psychoactive behavior, and suicidal thoughts, physical, depression, fast heartbeat, seizures, potentially severe nausea, chest pain, kidney failures, and death. Why is this important? I believe that what you see behind me and what you see to my right can be considered gateway drugs. Gateway drugs are drugs that individuals use, potentially unknowingly, that they can become addicted to. And so they go to that next level of high that they are trying to achieve. So when our youth have access to these kinds of cannabinoids or synthetic cannabinoids, the impact for their future is something we all should take extremely serious. In January 2025, the Springfield Department of Health and Human Services brought this issue to the Public Health Council for the city of Springfield. In February, the Department of Health and Human Services continued to update the Public Health Council in research. And the Public Health Council said, we need a regulation. And so in March, we promulgated a regulation that we brought forward to Mayor Sarno. On April 15th, we met with Mayor Sarno and we explained to him the things that we were seeing in the stores and what was being offered to our children. And he said, now a regulation is different from an ordinance in that a regulation contains no fine. So we have the ability to promulgate a regulation, but once we attach fines to that regulation, we have to go to the city council and an ordinance is recommended. And so the mayor was very clear with us. He did not want a regulation. He was interested in putting some teeth into this, and so there were consequences for those who were selling these illegal products. Illegal products. It's important to stress that these are not legal. The packaging does not contain accurate information to our knowledge, and so it is really very important. At this point, we began working with Steve Buoniconti in the law department. Once the mayor instructed us, I want an ordinance, we began working with the law department, who was extremely helpful in helping us to put in the ordinance those things we felt were critical. Again, I cannot stress enough the health impacts. I cannot stress enough the potential of being a gateway drug for our young people. It is critical that we take this step. I am so appreciate that we have a mayor who was willing to go out there and take this risk. And I believe other boards across the Commonwealth, boards of health, have promulgated regulations. I think we are going to be the first city in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to go to an ordinance to try to curb what is a scourge on the health of our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, very much. Well put. And again, how do you get somebody's attention? When you hit them in the wallet, the pocketbook, or the pocket. And that's why I wanted the fines and continued enforcement on that. I want you to get the street perspective, on that with Xavier Williams. When he brought me this stuff through Helen and I saw the packaging, I go, geez, any kid would grab this thinking it's candy or cookies or chips. And God forbid something happens to them where they OD or they have a health challenge or even worse. And then he showed me, you can see, here's the ingredients. And I think one was very creative, but Xavier Williams does a great job going out on the street for us. And Xavier, would you please say a few words? Because you witnessed it left and right. Sure. Xavier?
Sure.
And looking very dapper today.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to keep this as short as it was for the mayor to actually get this ordinance in effect. We definitely are thankful for that because we look at this as a common threat to our community and especially our youth. What I've witnessed when I go into the stores, whether I'm at work or even off of work, I've noticed, children coming in there, let's say a young 17, 16-year-old woman with her little sisters by their sides. And she's asking for a specific name, let's say, let me get a gangbang power pack. And then that store owner will then give a single Lucy of a pre-roll synthetic that we don't even know how it can harm our community. So my message to all of the youth, Orion, Legend Perry, Branson, Robert Devine, I'm a single father, and I worry for them just like I worry for all the children in the community who will simply be like, hey, let me get one of those gummies, not knowing that it's synthetically enhanced, and it could have a long detriment to them. So these are something that I've witnessed on the streets, and this is something that I want off the streets. And I thank you, Mayor Sarno, for taking it into effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. Appreciate that. Now, in a legal perspective, let me bring up our city solicitor, Steve Buoniconti, to city also assistant and deputy city solicitor Tom Moore. Thank you, and Kenny Shea. Thank you also for the city council attorney. Also on it, Steve Buoniconti.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the law department and all the staff who has worked on this, I want to thank them for their work. Helen Caulton-Harris and her team at Health and Human Services have been a terrific ally in this process, along with other departments that we've been working with. But it starts with the mayor. When the mayor learned what we were facing versus an unregulated market that was the Wild West versus a regulated market, and the dangers that the unregulated market posed to everybody in the region, the mayor told us to take decisive action, and we have done that. With this ordinance that we are submitted to the city council as as Department Head Helen Caulton-Harris mentioned, we are going to be the first community, city or town in the Commonwealth to push for such aggressive legislation. And in fact, we don't believe that there's any other community that's doing what we're trying to do. And that trailblazing mode is really based on the mayor's attitude and the mayor's commitment to protect the city and all of its residents. We've had the science community blow a crater in the marijuana legislation of what was intended several years ago and what we're facing now. As Helen has mentioned, the cannabinoid Delta 9 is the one that's mostly regulated because that gives you the psychedelic high. Delta 8 and Delta 10 are components that are found in a very low, moderate amount by nature inside THC. What scientists have figured out, chemists have figured out, is if you take those two cannabinoids and you put them on steroids, then you can get the same type of high, same type of psychedelic effect as Delta 9, and then sell it completely unregulated, not have to document anything that's inside the contents. And in fact, what we're seeing is that the description of the contents is 100% magic. That is what individuals are buying out there. And so what we've been coordinating, and the legal operators in the city have become aware of our efforts, and they have signed a letter. All of them have signed a letter in support of our legislation here today and our efforts, because they are the ones paying significant taxes to the city and to the Commonwealth, who are highly regulated, making sure that their product is safe by law compared to this unregulated market, when we know that anything is going on, everything is happening. So really, in summary, what we're trying to do here today is that for all who remember and understand and think of it as ancient history, that we tried to take flavored tobacco products off the shelves and protect people and children from those products. Right now, we are way behind on marijuana products, and we're trying to catch up with this action today. So it's with the mayor's efforts that we're doing this, and I want to thank the mayor again. The fine that we're seeking on behalf of this is the maximum fine that we are permitted to seek, and that's $300 per item. And so we intend that once this matter goes into effect as law, we are already crafting a plan with the police department, with Health and Human Services, and the law department, and others, to go into stores, confiscate that product immediately, and take it off its shelves. I do want to say one thing. I don't want to be too lengthy here, Mayor, but for the press who has been watching what's going on this subject matter, the state legislature is taking up this legislation similar to this today. And so you might ask, why are we doing this? And the answer is this. We think that they're dancing around the subject at the state legislative level, and we're going right at it. There are a lot of discussions about proposed amendments today about taking a product off the shelves, then require testing of that product, and then confiscating it and fining anybody. We think that that is wholly inadequate. And for us, we are going to define the product as what you see here. And if we walk into a store and we see it, we're going to have the legal right to confiscate that product and take it immediately off the shelves. Otherwise, we are giving the criminal operators continued carte blanche to sell to anybody they want to. So this is the most aggressive legislation in the Commonwealth. It will supersede what's being discussed at the state legislative level, and we are quite proud of that. And the mayor has instructed us to do it in that way, and we stand behind it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Steve, very much. Thank you. And again, CCC, we reached out to these entities that are supposed to be, overseeing these operations, and they just punted it. But the key thing was, as I said it before I bring up Deputy Chief Steve Kent, how do you get people's attention? Hit them in their pocketbook, their wallet, or their pocket. $300 for each piece. You got 10 pieces, that's 3,000, 3 G's. You got 100, that's $30,000. I didn't want something in there where they say just confiscate it, because these people, they'll just reload. Simple as that. And again, the dangers that they're putting our young people in. That's what we're standing for here today. And also the cultivation. They're building a farm system here. You know, adult use it's regulated. People have every opportunity to do that. Fine. We've had no issues with the establishments that I've granted permits to here in the city of Springfield. But it's 300 per each item. And they have ingredients listed, and now and when Steve had mentioned it, Xavier, I remember when you showed me that too. What's the ingredients? 100% magic. That was on the ingredients. Despicable. So on the police end of this, I'll bring up Deputy Chief Steve Ken.
Thank you, Mayor. So the superintendent, who's out of town today, sends his regrets. He's at a conference out of state, actually. And I have to admit, when Captain Dunn and I first started talking about this and this ordinance and this enforcement, I didn't really see the urgency at that time. But as we talked about it and as I looked into it, I realized that, yeah, this is an issue, and this is an issue that has to be dealt with right away. The superintendent and I have had discussions about it. He feels the same way. And I listened to Xavier talk about a shop owner, a shopkeeper, handing out a free sample to a potential customer. That's classic drug dealer behavior. You give the first one away for free. I mean, that's been going on as long as people have been selling drugs. So in my mind, someone who does that, whether they're calling themselves a shopkeeper, store owner, whatever, they're a drug dealer. So to that end, the superintendent and Captain Dunn, who I believe is going to be spearheading the police side of this, are committed, partnering with HHS and the law department to make sure that this ordinance is effective and that people that are doing this are going to feel the pain.
Thank you, Deputy Chief.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to bring up Lamont Clemens, who has Primus Mason Cannabis establishment up in the square there. And I think Councilor Brown hit it right in the head also with Councilor Perez and others. Who's his target? This targets young people. This targets children. And many a times, as Councilor Brown indicated, be targeting a lot of minority children that are out there. And I don't want to see any child, no matter what creed, color, or background, get hooked on this stuff here. Because, you get to a certain level, as they said, and I want to get higher. And again, the state is not moving on it. The CCC is not moving on it. And it's not fair, number one, to children, but also to the businesses who are legally licensed, who are following heavy regulations and requirements to make sure the legal use of adult marijuana is done properly. And that is not correct. So Lamont Clemens, again, of Primus Mason Cannabis establishment up in Mason Square.
Thank you, Mayor. I just first and foremost just want to really just thank you guys for your fierce urgency of now. The movement that you guys have done on this is just absolutely incredible and really moving to action. Every single person, with respect to obviously Commissioner Harris, Mayor Sarno, Caulton-Harris, Mayor Sarno, great city councilors like Malo Brown, Maria Perez, others that are around, Tracy Whitfield, Jose Delgado, and a lot of other folks that have been having some conversations about this. But you guys spearheading this has been absolutely incredible for us because it really shows for business owners like ourselves that work extremely hard and were born and raised here in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts, that the city and the representatives here have our back, which is extremely important because all we're really trying to do here is protect the residents, the children, and our potential clients that are coming in to the building, coming into the organization, and also kind of just set a level playing field, let the standard be equal across the board for anyone. This was a very difficult process to be able to win the RFP process here amongst competition that's all around the United States trying to get into the city, and for us to be able to do that locally and build it and then have some constraints like these illegal products being sold and where could potentially be sales for us. on the legal side and regulated side is really, really key. And that's what I think the mayor really hit the nail on the head from the business owner perspective. We're here, we care about the community, our dollars stay in the community. And I think it's important that that the organization, the city, and everyone has had our back on this. Has been an incredible journey. And I'm up here speaking. I think this is, it's great that I'm up here, but I just would be fully remiss to not mention Peyton Schubrick from Six Bricks, who was a person that really extremely much more educated on me in this industry, and was just kind of one of the people that was really spearheaded, along with Steve and a few others, that was really spearheading this movement because of her sheer understanding and research of the market. So I definitely wanted to make sure that was mentioned here as well. But really, it's just about really our community, protecting our community, having a level playing field, and keeping everybody accountable, and really just allowing business owners here that grew up on sentiments like my father used to say, the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Those type of things are just really important. So now we put in the work, and we're looking to reap our benefits on a fair ground. So again, thank everybody and all the due diligence, and just for moving so quickly on this. Has been absolutely incredible.
Lamont was a great job. He was pinch hitting. Peyton Schubrick wanted to be here. She had another engagement in Northampton, and she's been an eloquent spokesperson when it comes to legalized marijuana. And many of these institutions have also created jobs and given back to the community. But our first, before I take any questions from the media for any representatives that are here, the first thing in my mind, again, when Helen and Xavier brought this to my attention, was kids. Protecting our young people. Priority number one. The subset of that was that you have businesses operating legally that are following all the rules and regulations, being regulated, and making sure that the ingredients that are in there for legal adult marijuana are checked, double checked, triple checked, as was witnessed in the one strand that came out that had mold in the area and beyond. You're not having that in this. And again, as Xavier indicated, and what Deputy Kent indicated, you're right. The hook. Come on in, kid. What do you want? Here, take this. Don't worry about it. No charge. You need some more, come back and see me. So that's what's going on. Any questions from the media, please? Yes. Helen, I don't know if you want to handle that, or Xavier, or any specifics on that, or Steve?
We certainly do know of convenience stores, bodegas, and larger facilities that are selling these illegal products. At this point, I am not going to specifically name them, but we are very much aware of those entities in our city.
Well, I'll go off the top of my head, but I'll let Helen and Xavier handle that, or Solicitor Buoniconti. You go into a lot of places, convenience stores, gasoline stations, bodegas, even some so-called retail stores. You walk right in there, it's right there, right in front, as soon as you can see it. Or as Steve Kent, Deputy Chief Kent, indicated that geez, we'd like to go ahead and try it. So go into a number of stores, you're going to see it, but we're not going to get specific because when we hit, we'll hit. I don't know, Helen or Xavier? Yeah. Well, they're going to know now.
So I'm hearing a lot of these entities or stores do not know this is an illegal product, and that could be true. We have a list of 12 to 13 places in the city that are selling these illegal products, and we've identified them, and so we know where they are, and we know what products are being sold there. So again, at this point, we are not going to name those entities or stores, but we do have a list of them. So be clear, we have a list of those stores and facilities.
Thank you, Helen. Ignorance can be bliss. Maybe some don't know. Some know exactly what they're doing. Yes, Reagan. Helen, you want to handle that? I mean, I think this is a little more potent, but.
Do you want to?
Yeah, why don't you explain? I know.
Sure. K2 was a common problem that we were suffering, and this synthetic cannabinoids is pretty much on the same level because it's untested, it's unregulated, so we don't know what we don't know. But I do want to let you all know that it's not just an inner city issue. They're spread amongst the more affluent towns that you wouldn't even think of or consider. So it's a widespread issue that we need to take care of.
Thank you, Xavier. Any other questions or comments? Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Fair, go ahead.
The $3 fine you mentioned, is there any like severe punishment for like a repeat offender?
You know, that term repeat offender, I use it constantly on it, especially with bad apples. But I think if you're going to walk, and again, Helen, you know, we know these places, we've been in them. You got 100 products on there, that's 30 grand. 30 grand fined on it. So maybe you learn your lesson at that point in time, and you won't restock. And then we're also, as Deputy Chief Ken indicated, cognizant of that they might, you know, the back room. We're not going to put anything up front. We know the places, and we're going to be actively out there. And again, this is just for protection, public, in the name of public health and safety for our young people, especially our children. I mean, Xavier hit it right on the head. You know, you got your kid, you're going in, and you're like, oh, mommy, dad, oh, no, can I get some candy? And just to, you know, go ahead, grab that. Not where I'm even looking at what you're buying at that point in time. And you can see polka dots. Oh, candy. Oh, yeah, that's just candy. I'm going to grab that. And you can see the packaging that was on the screen there, how that similar looks to Skittles, to chips, to cookies. And again, it is illegal. It is illegal. And, you know, if the state or CCC is not going to step up, or the on the legislature, we're going to step up. Yes. Well, I think the step up there has to be with parental oversight on it, and especially if you're going into these places, you got to be aware of what your kid's picking up. And the other thing too is many times kids are going in there alone, and if they're about, you could potentially get sick, overdose, face serious health concerns, as Commissioner Helen Caulton-Harris indicated. But I think it really goes a lot to parental involvement. Know what your kids are doing. Know what your kids are looking to buy and this and that. And, you know, if there are some establishments that say, no, I didn't know. I find it hard to believe with some of them on it. But the point is, I believe we will get their attention, because if you walk into a place and there's 100 products there, we're confiscating it, and then you're going to get hit with a $30,000 fine, $300 per item. So you hopefully don't restock that, run a legitimate business, and if you decide to do backroom stuff, we know where you are. We know where you are. So again, this will be another first for the city of Springfield, and I myself and my administration have no problem leading in this. And if you run a legitimate business, I have no issue with it, no matter what creed, color, and background. But on the subset of this, number 2, is the legitimately licensed adult marijuana establishments here in the city of Springfield, which we have not derived any issues with whatsoever. They're heavily regulated. A lot of money is spent to make sure their business operates correctly on it, and that's not fair. But number one item is protecting our young people. Any other questions or comments? Helen, or
What was the question? I'm sorry.
can you repeat that, Reagan?
Any product that contains Delta 8, Delta 9, or K2 that is illegal, unregulated, and packaged is something that we will consider as a part of this ordinance. The other thing I should mention is on the business aspect. If you own a facility and you have someone in your facility who is operating with these illegal products, the ordinance addresses that. We will also want to make sure that landlords know who they're leasing to and what they're selling as well. She's asking, is flower legal or illegal? If flower is in a regulated cannabis facility, do you have flower there? Just asking a question.
So yeah, I think she's talking about, we have flower throughout ours, cannabis flower, but
That's legally right.
So
You
one
talk-
product alone that isn't over the .0.
Yes, it is. It is a part of this. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying, everyone.
I just have one more, sorry. So you said that there was unregulated when these products were already legal unregulated. So if somebody was caught selling them before this ordinance, would they have any, any after them then, or?
There was no regulation at that point in time. You know?
That's the
Steve,
reason
did
we're having to do this, is because there is no
Yeah.
nothing at all.
But at the CCC, and I will say, that is illegal. Those are illegal products. But yet, when we initially reached out through City Solicitor Buoniconti to say, well, okay, we're having an issue with that. We need you to step in? They punted on it. So, Jeanette, you had a question?
Similar to hers, so if you walk into a store that has those, can you confiscate them now because of the ordinance, or is it no?
Yeah, we got to have the ordinance. We'll get it in front of the city council ASAP, and then you're going to have, I believe, two readings, and then it will go into effect. So we're giving ample warning to those establishments that these are illegal products. And if you got one in there, $300. If you have 10 in there, $3,000. If you got 100 in there, $30,000 fine on it in the name of public health, especially in protecting our children with this deceptive packaging. And again, as Xavier mentioned, there's one, I forget which one it is. Ingredients, 100% magic. That was the ingredients on it. You don't know if there's mold on there. You don't know if it's being laced with something. You don't know if fentanyl could possibly be in there. You have no idea. Say that again?
Pesticides.
Yeah, pesticides. I know Mallow brought the grabber. You want to? You're sort of like the expert on that, Mallow.
Well, it is an epidemic. I don't think a lot of people understand, especially when if you went into any of these stores, you'll find a lot of these things because the kids buy them. So sometimes the owners, some of them don't know. I'm sure about it because it's just a common thing. I would hope once they're notified, they'll stop doing it. But grabba is something kind of difficult to regulate because of how they make it. I know individuals like drug chemists and street drug chemists pretty much make it. You have to. It's just the tobacco that you take out of a blunt or a cigar and you soak it and you treat it. And I can assure you, all the kids I know pretty much who smoke, and they do grabba. So I don't know if it'll cover that in the ordinance. That would be, how it's constructed, but it is a very dangerous product.
Thank you, Councilman. Helen, would that be covered under the ordinance? Grabba?
No.
Okay, so we have to look further into that. Jeanette, you had a question? No? Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We really appreciate it. Go out and have a good day. Thank you, everybody.